there's a brief pause. There it goes. Good
Welcome,
morning.
everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm just waiting for my chat to pop up.
Okay. Lots of good stuff this morning, guys. We'll be talking about Daedalus, Yoroi, mainnet.
All
Mainnet.
right. Welcome, everyone, to the Cardano Effect Podcast, episode 101. The purpose of this podcast is I'm sorry. I'm seeing
Do
three screens
over.
at the same time.
I know
This
what
is
you
the
mean.
first time
Spins up.
I have three screens going at the same time. I apologize.
It spins up and the audio comes back through the other side, right?
Yeah,
And it
exactly.
throws you
Exactly.
off.
That's a good start for 101.
I hear you, brother.
Welcome, everyone, to the Cardano Effect Podcast, episode 101. The purpose of this podcast is to take high-level developer information and projects that are occurring within the Cardano space and break them down into bite-sized, consumable pieces of information for everyday use. I'm your host, Philippe, and let's get this podcast started. Rick and myself are the hosts of the Cardano Effect Podcast, and this is our weekly live stream series where we talk about news and events that happen within Cardano. I like to preface this by saying none of what we say on this podcast is financial advice. Remember, you are your best financial advisor. And if you don't think you are, you need to find someone who's qualified to do so. Rick, Shelley is here. How are you doing this morning? What's going on?
Shelley is here. I'm happy, man. Very, very happy. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Glad to have you all here. I'd like to give a shout out to the Cardano Foundation for sponsoring this podcast. Thank you very much, Cardano Foundation. And I would like to remind all new viewers, this podcast is available in audio on all major audio streaming podcasting platforms. All right, so with that out of the way, we're going to get into, we have so much to go over. Mainnet is launched. What else, Philippe?
Yeah,
Daedalus
we have
update.
Daedalus updates. We're going to be talking about Daedalus and Yoroi today. We're going to be talking about what's next. We're going to be doing a brief talking. We're going to give you some important dates as well. So the Cardano Foundation released IOHK released a map to tell you exactly what dates you should be looking forward towards. So we're talking about the ITN rewards wallet, when that's going to happen. So how you're going to be able to retrieve your rewards from the ITN period. And we're also going to be talking about when you're going to start getting your mainnet rewards. So we're going to also jump into chat. So we're going to be answering a lot of questions and having some candid conversations with each and every one of you. So Rick, do you want to cover some issues with Daedalus first, and then we can get into the mix of things?
Yeah, let's hit that early on because Philippe and I have gotten a lot of DMs where people have running into problems with Daedalus. And so there's two problems. Well, at least there's two problems to be alert to as of this point, and that is one is for the users who are delegating, and the other is for the pool operators who are operating the pools. And for the users who are delegating, you might not see all the pools in Daedalus yet. And your Daedalus might be slow to open. There are a lot of people who are reporting a little bit of slowness with Daedalus, some excessive memory consumption. So what people have found in general is that if Daedalus is either connecting to network or not displaying the user interface right away, is wait it out about 15 or 20 minutes. That'll allow it to sync up and get good connections to relays out there and sync the blockchain. You might see it say 99.5% or something like that and pause. So from the user end, that's one thing to be aware of, is that there are people seeing some slowness. There is another release anticipated in the next few days where it corrects some of the things that can really only be tested on mainnet. It just takes a lot to test that. There was another user interface maybe anomaly or maybe an improvement is needed. Philippe is a little more familiar with it, with the
Yes.
undelegate. What was that, Philippe, you had?
Yeah. So when you create your Shelley wallet, I just like to explain to everyone who hasn't started staking yet that when you update to Daedalus 2.0.0 from Daedalus mainnet version 1.1.0, you're going to see your wallet and it's going to say Byron. There will be a little red flag next to your wallet name. You're going to create a Shelley address. So you're going to have to create an address and then move the funds from your Byron wallet to your Shelley wallet. And you'll see that the wallet schematics, so the actual receiving addresses, are a little bit different. They start with ADDR. And once you're ready to stake, you go to that stake pool delegation center, and there's an option to delegate. Once you choose a pool to delegate, you are forever staking within that wallet. I don't know if there's going to be an update in the future that allows you to undelegate, but there is a button that says undelegate. It's called undelegated, but it's not an actual button you can click. It's kind of like grayed out. Next to the undelegated button, you're going to see the pool that you're part of. So whatever pool that you delegate your ADA to, it's going to have the ticker right next to that pool. The only option right now is to redelegate. So take all your ADA and redelegate it to another pool. You cannot choose the amount that you want to delegate. You have to go all in, and you cannot split your wallet. So if you have a wallet with 10,000 ADA, you can't say, I'm going to point 5,000 ADA towards this pool and the next 5,000 towards another pool. Will that feature come in the future? Probably, but now it's not here. So once you start staking, you cannot unstake. The only way to unstake would be to create another Shelley wallet and then send those funds from the first Shelley wallet to the second Shelley wallet. But once you're staking, you're staking. And I'm sure that this product is brand new, so they're going to get a lot of feedback about what they can improve on. And I'm sure that they've been doing a lot of work. So those little details, sometimes they skip the line. So those things are less important right now. The most important thing is for them to work on Daedalus functionality so everyone can access. And, like Rick was saying before, I only saw 438 pools this morning in Daedalus. And if you go to ADA pools or various different websites, you see that there's over 600. So a lot of pools are still missing. There's also, if you really want to delegate to a pool that's not listed, you may want to contact that pool operator and ask for their pool ID, especially if you're using a hardware wallet to stake, and you can start delegating directly with the pool ID. Otherwise, you can just be patient. We're going to go through a calendar of the important events that are happening. And while it's important for you to delegate as soon as possible, rewards are not being generated right now, and blocks are not being produced by the community pools. So, Rick, do you want to talk a little bit about the delegation cycle map that IOHK released on Twitter?
Yes, sir. I copied that to my desktop, so I'm going to screen share that shortly. I did want to touch on a few more items that users may be interested in. So Philippe hit on one of the key things about the delegate and redelegate, and that if you want to delegate to multiple pools, you can't do it from one wallet. The only way to do it is similar to the ITN, you have to create additional wallets and delegate, and then send your ADA to the additional wallets and then delegate from there. That's currently the only way to do it, just to be alert to that. Also, I have seen some user complaints about it's 2.17 or 2.18 ADA to delegate. Okay, it does cost that much. That I kind of knew about it, but I forgot about it. Kind of thing, where the transaction fee is 0.17 or 0.18, depending on how many UTXOs go into it. But the delegation transaction, something or other, whatever it is, widget, costs 2 ADA. So when you delegate, it costs 2.18 ADA should be the max right about now. So that's something you got to be alert to. So that pretty much wraps up the user interface things that I think we've heard feedback on. Does that sound about right, Philippe?
Yes.
Now,
yes, it is.
Now, for the pool operators, unfortunately, not all the pools are showing up on Daedalus, and you cannot stake from Yoroi yet, but coming soon. Coming soon. Sebastian is working really hard. And the team, everyone over there at the team. But in Daedalus, it only shows about 435 to 460 pools roughly on average. And it looks like most people, it stops putting pools in around 439. You don't see above that. And I was talking to the Cardanians over at ADA Pools, right? And very clever fella, and he put a back end in. So on the back end, he can see the 600 back end of Daedalus Wallet. He can see that there are over 600 pools, and he can display it on ADA Pools. So if you go to ADA Pools, you can see how many pools are on there on one of the pages. But so the problem appears to be, or at least we suspect, is only in the front end on the GUI, on the user interface. And I don't know exactly what the problem is, but it looks like maybe someone put an emoji in their ticker, maybe something like that. And somewhere around pool 439 or 440, when it registered, they put an emoji in a ticker, and it kind of maybe busted the front end. So the back end is fine. Daedalus got a really nice back end. Everybody likes a nice back end, but You get no innuendo there. Uh,
Yeah.
but on the front end in the GUI, so the pools are in the back end, but you can't see them on the front end. Unfortunately, for new pools coming online, you're not going to, it's going to be very difficult to get delegations until those pools are visible. So just be aware of that limitation, all right? Okay, so what was the other one? Oh, the schedule.
Yes, the
Okay,
schedule.
I'll put the schedule up. I'll put the
Okay.
schedule up. Let me get that going. So, and this is what people are really curious about here too. Uh, good stuff. All right, let me put that up on my screen share. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Can you see that, Philippe?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So we're in this the first section in black. I don't know if you can see my cursor. Is my cursor showing now?
Yes, it is.
Okay, okay. So we are here, August 2nd, August 3rd. We hit this blue line. This snapshot doesn't mean snapshot as in like what we're used to hearing snapshot. That means the blockchain and the full nodes out there take a look at the blockchain and say, okay, here's the current state of the blockchain. So at this point, the current state of delegated stake is retained by the blockchain, and then it will be applied after this epoch into this epoch. That delegation becomes active. Okay, so anything up until this point, snapshot, and that gets fed into. So this is epoch 0, 1, and 2 relative, but the actual epochs are. Oh, I wrote this down. 208 we're currently on, 209, 210. So in epoch 210 it will become active. In epoch 211 you will get rewards, which is ends August 18th. Rewards are calculated and delivered August 18th.
Yes. So when you look at that delegation cycle, ideally you want to start thinking about delegation within the next 5 to 6 days, because then you'll be able to get some rewards in Epoch 2 that you see in blue. So, and then get paid out August 18th if you want to start receiving rewards. Of course, you do it at your own speed whenever you feel comfortable. But if you want to start receiving rewards, think about next week, making sure that you get all your things in order. I have a quick announcement. Well, there's an announcement on the the Cardano forum. You can join it. There's a lot of information there about exchange interruptions. I read it last time, but just want to let everyone know that there's a lot of ADA right now trapped on Bittrex, Binance, and various other exchanges. We have no estimation of when they're going to finish their Shelley upgrade. Remember, these are centralized exchanges that are not just focusing on ADA. They have a ton of different cryptocurrencies. So they're going to go at the pace that they feel comfortable with. And they're holding probably tens of millions of dollars of that said cryptocurrency. So they're going to take their time. This is why I implore everyone, as we move forward in the future, really look to see which wallet you want to be familiar with, because everyone that's had their ADA in wallets, they're free from all of they're going to upgrade themselves. And while there are issues with Daedalus, you have the autonomy of your funds and you can move them around when you want. When you have them on an exchange, you're subject to whatever upgrades that exchange is going through at that particular time. And there are going to be upgrades in the future as well. When we hit Voltaire, when we hit Goguen, they may need to do some certain upgrades to the protocol in order to allow ADA to seamlessly flow in between smart contracts and voting. So after this experience, please consider, especially if you're a long-term ADA hodler or a long-term ADA holder, to move your funds off of exchanges and get them into the proper wallets so you don't have to deal with any of the BS from exchanges. But we don't know when Bittrex, when Binance are going to upgrade. I'm sure they're working on it as we speak. And as soon as they're ready, you'll be able to withdraw, send it to the wallets, and start delegating. You're just going to have a little patience. And remember, there's no real time lost here. We're still at the beginning. While I say you can delegate next week, if you delegate it in a month, it doesn't matter. 2 months, it doesn't matter. We're really at the very beginning of this blockchain project. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that, Philippe. And I would like to add to that, just so people are aware, I was hoping that the exchanges would be more online by August 3rd so that people have time to delegate during this epoch. Okay. And I was also expecting or anticipating a 5 billion stake to be online, but right now it's at about 3.9 billion. But I was looking for 5 billion by August 3rd, but that didn't happen. So My guesstimates are sometimes off. But 3.9 billion, that I believe is the amount of ADA that is now converted to Shelley wallets, okay, or Shelley addresses. So if people went into Daedalus and took their Byron address and instantiated it onto the mainnet and then created a Shelley wallet and said, move to Shelley wallet, that's where that 3.9 billion comes from that you see on ADA pools and on Pool Um, I don't know if that's the number that calculates saturation because some people have been asking about saturation. I thought saturation was 31 billion divided by 150, but it might be the lower number. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Cardano's complex. It takes a lot to figure it out. Right.
Yes,
And I'm not in the
yes.
know behind the scenes. So Philippe and I kind of have to figure things out and then kind of digest it and pass it on to you. So we don't always have perfect information, but we try to give you the best information we can. At least I mean that's what we try to do, right?
Yes. And
Usually we know.
sometimes,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I mean usually we're relatively up to date, current, but we don't know all the technical details because it's complex. So
Yes, definitely, definitely. And sometimes things change as well. They're written one way in the docs, and it's not feasible for them to create the product like that. So things will change over time, and our information will change. And like we said earlier in previous podcasts, everything that we say on this podcast is gold until it's proven otherwise. So we encourage anyone that maybe has more knowledge or is actually working on the product to come on the podcast and inform us and educate us. So yes.
yeah,
And Rick, I had one more announcement before we jump into chat. The Cardano Foundation released a guide to becoming a stake pool operator. And at the bottom of the guide, they're going to be running a stake pool school starting in August for all prospective and current stake pool operators. They're going to be discussing key aspects of maintaining a pool, attracting ADA holders to delegate their stake, and more. The first core stake pool onboarding is designed to introduce people to Cardano, walk them through how to set a pool, and provide guidance on managing and maintaining stake pools to ensure optimum performance and profitability. You can sign up on the Cardano forum today, and it's going to be a whole class to help those that are interested in running a stake pool. So we receive those questions a lot. So check that out.
yeah, excellent. That's great that they're doing that and on the Cardano forum. So forum.cardano.org, right? And then there will be a post there that they can find on how to run a stake pool. That's fantastic. All right. So what else do we have? Oh, Yoroi update. So Yoroi is back online. It is now Shelley capable, but it is not Ledger and Trezor capable yet. And it's not. I don't think it's delegation capable. I just looked at it yesterday, and I don't think it had delegation capability in it. Um, but it is running on Shelley, and then there will be a few more updates. So Yoroi will it updates a little bit more rapidly than the exchanges. So hopefully, when that updates and the exchanges come out, you'll see more ADA moving into the Shelley phase and being delegated to the pools. Okay, and that's what I anticipate. But just be alert, that's the current status of Yoroi. Should be updating a few days on Yoroi, updating a few days on Daedalus, correcting some of the very minor glitches that are in there, but however, they're impactful to the stake pool operators. All right, so what else do we have on the list? We had Daedalus and Yoroi status. We got that out. Staking Q&A. So if you have questions, let us know in the chat. Philippe, if you don't mind, I do gotta go blow my nose. I'm getting a
Go, go for
not
it.
COVID. It's not COVID, man. I'll
Go
be
for
right.
it. Go for it.
You got it.
So everyone, send your questions in chat. Let's see. I'm going to run through chat right now to see if there are some questions we can answer. Um, yeah, Jason Schwartz, do you know how many ADA still in Bayern wallets? Well, whatever the supply right now for Shelley wallets, which is like 3.9 billion, and then you just have to subtract the circulating supply from that, and that's the amount. So it's tens of billions of ADA. Let's see. Michael
Big,
McGraw says Binance will announce that you need to stake your coins for at least a month for stability testing purposes. Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
hold on. What was that?
Someone said that Michael McGraw says Binance will announce that they need to stake your coins for at least a month for stability testing purposes. Oh, I guess that was in okay. That's not official. Just they may do something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's understandable. That's probably why it takes a little longer for exchanges to upgrade, because they have to implement the upgrade. Then they have to test it and make sure it doesn't break anything and
Yes.
make sure it
Yes.
works. So it's
Yes.
probably a lot of testing. Same thing we do with the pools whenever we build those up. So let's see, but more complicated and more money
Definitely.
involved.
Definitely. Definitely.
Okay.
We have a question from CT Guitar Guy. We need a guide for how to choose pools to delegate to. I recommend that you visit the forum. A lot of pools are introducing themselves in the forum. You can also go on various different YouTube channels or go into Telegram or go into Twitter. A lot of people are going to be marketing their pools. Try to find a person or team that you really like or you really trust, because while they don't have access to your ADA at any particular time, you want to make sure that you can delegate your pool and you don't have to worry about it each epoch that pool goes offline. So figure out who you want to go with, or what team you want to go with, and operating fees and also the epoch fixed fee are some of the metrics that you need to consider. You can see all of those in Daedalus Wallet. And I'd also like to talk quickly about the operating fee versus the epoch fixed fee, because a lot of people are a little bit confused. The standard for the epoch fixed fee is 340. Of course, you can set it to what you want. 340 ADA. This doesn't mean that the pools are taking 340 ADA from each and every one of you each over a given epoch. It's spread over all the delegators within that pool. So if there's 5 million or 10 million staked within a pool, before the rewards get dispersed to everyone, the 340 ADA gets taken from the rewards before everything goes out. But it's almost negligible when you're in a pool that has a lot of stake. So 340 ADA, it's not something that you need to think that it's coming out of your paycheck or your return on stake each epoch. And then the fixed fee is the operating fee. So that's going to be the 1%, the 2%, 3%, and onwards fees that you see, and that's removed from the rewards. It's very if you do it on an individual basis, the pools are actually saving you money, unless you can attract a lot of stake to your pool, because it's almost free for you over a given time period. If you look at it from the grand scheme of things and see how much the pool's actually charging you, it's a very low amount, very low amount. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Rick.
Yeah, so Swifty asked, where does the 348 go? It goes to the pool operator. So there's two numbers that Philippe was describing here. That is the 340 minimum pool cost. So that's the minimum. That you got to charge 340 or higher. That comes out to, that's like $45 per every 5 days. That's basically the operator saying, this is the minimum that it costs for me to operate my pool. That is to encourage a healthy and sustainable ecosystem, because on the ITN, people were just putting zero because it was attractive, okay, but it was not realistic. It was not correct. I did it too. It's like, oh, well, I put zero because everybody else putting zero. Okay, but that's not sustainable. So they set a minimum at 340. It comes out of the total kitty before the ADA's divvied out to the delegators, and that goes to the pool operator's rewards to make sure the pool's sustainable. Then the percent margin kicks in, and the rewards are spread out among the operator and the delegators. So that's where the 340 comes from. Okay, thanks for that question. It was a good question. And Jack Cooper helped answer that there in the comments as well. Thank you, Jack. Let's see. And AEW Crip indicates is you got to charge 340 ADA or higher. Yeah, their pool operating costs are probably a lot more than $45 a week if you take into account the various, not only the purchasing the server or renting, not renting, but getting the cloud service. And if you combine that with time, effort, and everything else involved, it's probably currently with ADA at 13 cents or something like that. It's probably a good bit more than 340 ADA, but people are competitive and they're going to say, well, I'm just going to go to the 340, even though it's costing me a lot more than that, right? Because I don't
Yes.
want to look bad. Because if I make it higher than 340, then people will say, ooh, that guy's greedy, right?
Yeah.
That's what people do.
Yes.
Like, so, I mean, I just want to point that out. I mean, I'll tell you something else that's funny. Pool's killing it already is one PCT. They got like 10 pools up. So that's something we'll
Yes.
talk about. The one like that, for example, just an example. Okay, we know they're good operators. They did well on the ITN, but they did minimum pool minimum 340. You can't go lower than that, 1%, and then made 10 pools, almost no pledge. A equals 0.3 or zero point 0.3. So pledge is almost negligible, kind of, sort of, until you
Yes.
get up above 1.6 million.
Yes.
So they have like 420 million in delegation already.
Yeah.
420 million. What does that tell you? That tells you, I think it tells me that's 11%. That is 11% of the current stake. That tells me that 11% of the people want the lowest fees. And
Yes.
they may or may not care about centralization, may or may not consider it centralized or decentralized. I'm just saying that that model is still appears to be a winning model. I mean, I'm just calling it like I see it. If you got 11% of the delegation, it's attractive, obviously. I'm just saying
Yeah.
what it is, right? I'm not agreeing with it. I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm just saying it. Am
Yes.
I
Yes.
wrong?
No, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Okay,
That's
11% went there. Okay,
yeah.
well, that's 11%. That's obviously attractive.
That's the metrics that are set for the protocol, the A0 at zero point 0.3 and the K equaling 150. That's the environment that is a result of that. There's nothing wrong with them running their pools at 1%.
They're just complying with the protocol.
Exactly, exactly. They're
They're
not
just, oh,
breaking
look,
any
I can do
rules.
this and get away with it.
Exactly.
And if what will happen is we won't find out until about Epic 3 or 4. Is it an effective model based on rewards?
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes,
You're going to have to wait and find out and go, okay, this is what happened in Epic 3. This is what my rewards look like 5 days
yes,
later. Then 5 days after that, you go, okay, however my rewards look now. And
yes.
is this the model that I want to subscribe to? Right?
Yep.
And so what people would probably do is split their wallet, make 3 or 4 different wallets and try different pools. There's some pools. There was another thing. There was some noise on Twitter about IOG launching 20 pools. Okay, and so that's probably something we should discuss too. And
Okay.
what are the pros and cons? Right? What are the pros and cons? So if you guys don't mind, let me know in the chat. IOG launched 20 pools and they scaled it rather well. I thought it was pretty well thought out. There are some pools, I'm not looking at it right now, but there are some pools with like 1.5 and 1.6 million pledge that are at 5%, 3% and 5%, right? Then there's some other pools at 5 million pledge at 7%. And 7% leans a little high. You can see the distribution at adapools.org. So check out adapools.org, and he has a page there. The Cardanians have a page over there on the stake distribution based on the percent and the pledge. And it's an interesting graph, and it generates a center of mass. Maybe I can find that and share it, and we can talk about it. But at any rate, with IOG making 20 pools, and some people got in an uproar, but I thought, well, usually they think it through, right? IOG just doesn't drop bombs at random. They usually think it through pretty well, right? So my take on that was I think it was a good idea because we need that stake, number one priority. We need it to secure the blockchain. That
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
You need
You're
it.
right. You're right.
And number two priority, Charles had put it out on his video on yesterday. I can't remember. God, I don't want to quote him. I can't remember. But basically, they need to test the protocol. How else is IOHK going to know precisely exactly what's happening unless they have precise knowledge and precise control of exactly the amounts and then see what those returns are? Now, you can measure the entire blockchain, but you can see is it working correctly? Is the entire system working correctly by having data points to draw from? Plus, some people think it's going to be a race to the bottom. I have a hunch there could be a race to the top. If the community ever holds a vote and raises A0 equals 0.3 to a higher number, you might see more enterprise level and industrial level organizations coming into Cardano. We're on mainnet, man. We're on mainnet. They ain't playing anymore. This shit's real.
You're
And
right.
they might come in with 10 million. One already did. I think it was Luxembourg came in with the 10 million. Did you see that?
I saw that. I saw that.
Okay. 15 million, 20 million. If the ADA, if you get 30 billion ADA converted to Shelley addresses, you're looking at saturation of 220 million.
Yes.
You could have big banks come in and say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna drop a 40 million on here and make that a service to our customers."
Yeah, that is true.
It could. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, they better get in sooner than later though, because they're going to be paying a premium because 40 million right now, picking up 40 million ADA is really going to bump up that price. So,
Yeah.
and that's only for one. So
If
we'll
you're a
see.
pool operator now, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
Financial advice.
Yeah, not financial advice.
But if you're a pool operator right now and your future competitor 2 years from now is J.P. Morgan Stanley, whatever. I don't want to say like the bad guys, but if your competitor is like a bank, you're in pretty good shape.
Agreed. Agreed. Agreed.
So IOG's running 20. Okay, fine, whatever. I don't care. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
They got a big A. They better do something with it. If they sell it, it'll hurt more. I'd rather run a bunch of pools than sell it.
Agreed.
I
Agreed.
just call it like it is, man. If they sell it, I'd be like, oh, I'd look at my block folio and cry. If they sold it, they sell 2 billion eight. I'll be like, oh God, what happened?
Yeah, no, that would be. Yeah, I don't know who's gonna pick up those bags.
Just
Yeah,
make some pulls. They could.
yeah,
How much would you make? How many pulls could you make with 2 billion? You could at 200 million, you could make 10 private pulls.
and private pools.
You could make 10 private pulls, and just say, whatever, guys. I'm making
I could,
10 private pulls.
it'd probably be
Y'all
closer
sort
to
it
like
out.
12 to 15 because you have to account for rewards going back into that pool and pushing it over saturation.
Yeah.
So
It
like
would. Yeah, it would go. It would go over. So then you just extract it.
yeah, yeah, you could just extract it too.
You just
Yeah.
extract it and sell it to somebody else.
Oh, it's
I
true.
guess. I mean, that's why they're doing it, right? I mean, that's why somebody would do it. Let's see if we
Agreed.
got any questions on there. Oh, CT Guitar Guy says, appreciate the honesty, Rick. No problem. No problem. We try to keep it real. Felipe and I try to keep it real.
Can
I've seen things in crypto that just make me go, what the? Like big picture stuff. Like
yeah.
yesterday, little Bitcoin dip. Some guy
Well,
decides to sell a couple thousand Bitcoin and all the other cryptos go down with it. What is this?
yeah.
That's not good. That's not a healthy decentralized system. If some guy sells a pile of Bitcoin and everybody, to what, a couple tens of millions of dollars in Bitcoin got sold off, and the whole market drops by a couple billion. What's that?
Yeah. Rick, who knows? It might have been one of those miners that had been holding on to bags of BTC in order before, because they weren't profitable before. So they hit that price point and they just liquidated
Yeah,
and
maybe.
cycle continues,
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah.
Yeah. So
I
I
s-
think it's good running a lot of pulls. Run
yeah.
20 pulls. Fine, great. Go for it. There's some people are upset. It's okay. You can figure it out. You figure it out. Plus,
Yes.
it gives people some pulls to delegate to. Now the problem is, what are the pros and cons? We got to talk about the cons, right? The bad part. The bad part is there's little guys out there competing. They don't have the name recognition, right?
Correct.
How's that little guy going to compete with 20 pulls?
It's true.
It's tough.
That is true.
So
It's very competitive now. I mean,
it
there are
is.
so many pools. And just because there are a lot of choices doesn't mean that the ADA will actually spread to hit all of those choices. So it is extremely competitive, a lot more competitive than I initially thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm. And with K equals 150, optimally absolute max rewards, there would be 150 pulls. But right now we have, I got numbers. So back to the positive. Any pros and cons, let us know in the chat. What are the pros of having those 20 pulls up? The cons, there's good and bad to everything. I think it's okay, but you do have to understand it before people are okay with it, right? Because it's going to piss people off, especially the pool operators. That the
Yeah.
smaller pool operators and the new pool operators are going to say, "What is this?" Right? You know, it's going to piss them off.
Yeah.
But I think in the long run, we'll find out the pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Someone asked, "Can I have multiple wallets on Daedalus and stake to different pools by splitting my ADA up?" Yes. Yes. Gaming BTC. Yes, you can. What else do we have to hit on, Philippe? More questions? Let's see if we can take questions.
Yeah, I see a lot of questions, one from JCO Dev and a couple other people in the chat. They're asking about profitability for stake pools. There are two different ways of looking at it. So, I mean, profitable for a company, if you end the year with plus $1 or you make $10 in a year, considering your business expenses and what you had to do, then yes, the business is profitable. But profitable means different for it has different meanings for different people, because while a stake pool may be profitable, the amount of time invested into a stake pool is substantial. So it's how people value their time. I see a lot of stake pool operators, myself included. We put a lot of time in the minutia of running a pool, and these things are not perfect yet. So you're constantly having to adapt. You're constantly having to read documentation and tinker with your pool to make sure that it's up and running, it's producing blocks. It is a time consuming process. And I value my time. I value my time. I think Rick values his time as well. Other people may not value their time. Other people may say the amount of work I put 40 hours a week, you know, I think that I deserve 50 cents an hour. I deserve $0 an hour. Me personally, I don't, because I have other things that could be doing with my time. And that's how I determine profitability. So when I tell you that pools at this point are not profitable, it's only because I see the time invested in the pools and the actual return on the investment. So will that change over time as the ADA price increases? Yeah, but also that also may fuel a continued race to the bottom. So it's all going to balance out in the end. And personally, when I create businesses, it's not one of a speculative nature, because if I wanted to be in the business of speculation, then I would just buy ADA and hope for price appreciation up. So hopefully the business model can evolve over time and be profitable for more and more pool operators. And I think that as time increases, it's going to be easier and easier to run a pool. I mean, the platform itself is going to be a lot more smooth. So here in these early days, a lot of time doesn't actually equate with the returns in the end. But maybe that the sacrifice that operators are doing now will pave the way for operators in the future to just run more turnkey businesses for stake pools. I don't know how you feel about that, Rick. What are your thoughts?
Time is still valuable because they're providing value. Is it glitching up right now?
It glitched up, yes.
Oh yeah, because I opened up adapools.org and I was navigating to. I was looking for the page that has the stake distribution, and so I've got multiple streams. So I apologize. Is it
No
okay? Is
worries.
it stabilized now?
It's good now.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I have. So as far as the stake distribution, I'll come to that in a second. What was that last question? I was following, but I just lost track because of
Um,
it glitched up.
Profitability, as far as how you value your time, like
Oh yeah.
profitability for stake pools, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Even hobbyists, their time adds value to the system, so they might not consider their time valuable, but their time is the effort they're putting in is still providing valuable input to the system and it has systemic effects. So um, it is valuable. There's hobbyists out there who are great pool operators. So even if you're a hobbyist, your time is valuable to everyone.
Agreed. Agreed.
It is.
Agreed.
Some people go fishing for a hobby. Some people work on their cars. Some people build stake pools. It's a great hobby.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong. It's a great hobby to have. Okay, so I'm going to share the adapools.org. Can I do that now? I'll do a screen share.
Go for it.
Okay, if it glitches up, then just say, it glitched. Okay, give me a second. I just saw a bit of lag, so let me get that. Chrome. Okay, let's see if it goes out. All right, so over here on adapools.org, you see adapools.org/stats. Okay, you got the map of the Earth. Here's all the relays. And just keep in mind, these are the relays spread across the earth. There may be Daedalus full node wallets all over the world. Okay. There's 600. There's over 600 relays out there, which is massive. And so, okay, so check this out. No, I'm sorry. There are 756 relays and 620 pools. So you're looking at 1,300 and something Cardano nodes. So there's a lot of nodes. This one is relays. Then you throw in over 12,000 staking addresses. So you're looking at, 620 pools, 756 relays, and over 12,000 staking addresses already. And there's only 3 billion ADA staked. Man, this is decentralized, man. It's centralized. I know you look at this map and you go, what about these big dark gray areas? No, okay, well, it'll get there. It'll get there. It'll take time. Starlink is coming. Starlink is coming. All right. So check out this graph over here at adapools.org/stats. Okay. So on the left-hand vertical column here, we have pledge. How much is the pool pledging? Going up the left. Then across the bottom, we have the percent pool fee, the margin or the tax. I like to call it the ROS, but the pool fee in the margin. So for example, down here in the lower left-hand corner, you have 0 pledge and 0% fee. Okay. And as I go up here, you have a it's like an 18% fee with 0 pledge, and here's a pool, maybe a private pool or whatever, and it has a 100% fee and 0 pledge. Okay, and I don't know what that is. Maybe it was a typo or whatever. I don't know. The center, it could. It's a typo by somebody launching a pool on a blockchain. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
The center of mass seems to form right over here. Is my cursor visible? I don't have the big cursor thing on.
It is visible. Yes.
Yeah. So you're looking at somewhere around 500,000 ADA. It starts to form, and somewhere around 4 to 5%. You have this center of mass. That's where the majority of pools tend to clump up, and you have a few pools that hit. These ones, for example, they hit 2 million stake, and they have a range of between 4% and 6%. And you got some pools that went big, and they put it at 5 million at 8%. Okay. And then I think this is the Luxembourg bank that did 10 million at whatever that is. I don't know if it's 4 or 5%. Don't quote me on that, but somewhere on the graph.
It was 5, I believe. Last time I checked.
It was 5?
I believe so. Yeah.
About 5. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so that graph shows you the distribution of the pools there. And as you can see, as pools get higher and higher pledge, they can also put a higher percent and maybe or maybe not provide better rewards. We'll see. It remains to be seen. Mathematically, it should somewhere in here. I don't know the precise numbers. But that's basically how this graph works over there at adapools.org. Okay. And then you have distribution among the pools. Pretty darn good distribution. Actually, very, very broad distribution. You got ZZZ killing it over there in Japan. And then everything else kind of filters out. So, all right. Any questions on that graph? I can't see, Philippe. How are we doing on questions? I'm going to bring it down.
Yeah, bring it down.
Okay, I'm bringing it down.
That pool was 2%. I apologize. It wasn't 5.
It was 2.
Okay. It looked close to the left. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to tell on the graph with the way the numbers are laid out, but pretty good stuff. Nice work, Adapools. Good job, yes. Cardanians. Great tools out there for Cardano community. Pool tool is looking really good, looking beautiful, man.
Yes, and shout out to the Cardano Foundation for funding these explorers and these tools for the community, and I think that was a great investment for them.
That was, and the cool thing is that they built the tools first.
Yeah,
those tools were operating at they were high level of performance, and then they got funded. So you're getting a really good product for a really good price. I think. I don't know what the price is, but I mean it's really good. So I'm very happy that the Cardano Foundation is supporting those efforts. It's given people a lot of options, and it's given people all the information they need to make good decisions.
That goes to show you how strong this community is and how strong this blockchain is, because people are literally working for free before payment. And it's the same for operators. There's been a ton of operators that have been putting in, ungodly amounts of time into their pools with no promise of payout. So if our community is this strong prior to having any sort of economic model in our ecosystem, just imagine how strong it's going to be when the economics make sense for everyone.
Yeah, it will. And, people here are still the pioneers. Everyone watching the podcast right now, still early, still pioneers making all of this work. And so you have also, someone asked the question, what is the Pegasus app? Pegasus app is available on Android and iPhone. The Android one is currently updated to the mainnet, so you can check out mainnet on Android. I didn't see it on my iPhone yet. I checked last night. I'll check it again today. Apple's a little slower on deploying it, but Android's quicker, right? Same problem Mergo has to deal with Google releasing Yoroi's plugin. They have to let Google get through. So Pegasus is made by Mask. Pool ticker is Pega, P-E-G-A, and they make the Pegasus app where you can monitor on your mobile phone. Oh, Big Pay, I said something's wrong. Big Pay said, that's wrong, Rick. What did I say is wrong? Correct me, Big Pay. What did I say? What was it? Whatever I said wrong, Big Pay, tell me what it is and correct me. Correct me. I don't mind being corrected. Trust me, Philippe sees me off the air. He's got to calibrate me sometimes.
No, no. We have a question from Sean Cullen. Do staking rewards get automatically reinvested into your stake pool? Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Compounds.
Yeah. I get what Big Pay's saying right now. Big Pay says we've all been working for free. Okay, I'm following. I'm tracking now, Pay. You help. Thank you. Thank you, Big Pay. You are awesome. Bloom. Bloom Pull. So technically, we've all been working for free because the rewards don't come out until August 3rd. Okay. Now, and he's right. So
Yeah.
this started September 29th, started the ITN. That's 9 months now. Wait, August, September. Ooh,
No,
10.
wasn't it December? We went live in December.
No, it went live in December, but the network
The
phase
network, yes.
testnet started September 28th or 20th, somewhere at the end of September, when the first 60 people launched on Jormungandr Rust testnet. And then, I mean, you know what I'm talking about, as we went
Yes.
through September, October, November, December, that built the basic prototype, of a functioning protocol, right, on the
Yeah.
on the network. And so that's about 10 months and people haven't been paid yet, but it's coming tomorrow. Tomorrow. So Pay's right. Thank you for correcting me, Pay. Checks in the mail, bro.
The checks should speed up though in the
It'll
next
speed up.
month or next few weeks.
Yeah, we're the pioneers.
Yeah.
Big Pay says you're always right. No, I'm not. Viewers, let me know when I'm wrong. All right, we had a couple other key points to hit on. Let's see. We were hitting Daedalus, Yoroi, status updates. We got the staking and any staking question and answers. You went over the undelegate, and Daedalus has some issues.
Yes.
Daedalus is only showing 439 pools, plus or minus about 10. So you might see 429, 449, but somewhere in that range. Stand by for updates on Daedalus. I think it's a very minor problem, whatever it is. It's only in the GUI, in the JSP part, or whatever it is. What's the GUI made out of? Java servlet page, JSP?
I think Java. Yeah.
Yeah, the front
Yeah.
end is JSP.
Yeah.
And the problem's just in the front end. The back end is good to go.
Yeah.
I guess, I'm assuming. The back end's not having any issues. You can see it on Pool Tool. You can see it on native pools. They're using DB Sync. All that stuff's working. So I think it's just a GUI problem, hopefully.
Yeah. There's also
That
a
should be
little
an easy
slight
fix.
Yeah,
What's that?
it should be an easy fix. There's also
Yeah.
a slight issue when you are searching for pools. Like, I mean, I've tried it on two computers. I don't know if it's just me, but the icons get stuck. So like you start putting in letters and then they're kind of like overlaying each other and it takes sometimes like 5-10 seconds for it to actually like buffer, and it's not like extremely quick in searching for pools.
Oh, I saw that. You know what? If people see that, like what Philippe just described, check your CPU usage. I think what
Yeah.
happens is when Daedalus starts reorganizing the pools randomly, then the CPU ramps up, and that's
Okay.
probably what causes that.
Okay.
That
Okay.
animated
Yeah.
reorganization. I don't know how often it is, but it's like every minute or 2 minutes it will reorganize the pools. And just so people are aware, currently the rankings in Daedalus don't count. They don't mean anything.
Yeah.
They don't. They really don't mean anything.
They don't.
They're just basically random stuff.
Yeah.
So if you go in there and you see your pool, I made it. I looked at. I go, oh look how great mine's doing. No, it wasn't that great. It was just random.
Random. Yeah.
Because
There's nothing
like
going on.
5 minutes later, I looked at it and I said, it's at the bottom. What happened?
Yeah. It's just shuffling
Yeah,
around at this point.
yeah. I don't think we'll really know until number one after August 3rd, when the blockchain looks at the when the epic ends, basically
Yeah.
epic one. It might show something. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll
Yeah.
find out. And also, then once the pools start making blocks, we'll also find out. But people have to be alert. This is very important to the users. Very important. I showed the schedule earlier. After August 13th, when the pools start making the blocks, D will equal 0.9. That means the pools will only make 10% of the blocks. So this is very important. I know I say a whole bunch of stupid things in an hour. That gives me an hour to say stupid stuff. This is actually important. August 13th, the pools will only make 10% of the blocks they should. So if you're delegating to a pool that has, let's say, for example, 95 million stake on it, all right? But it only makes 4 or 5 blocks. That's okay. That's okay. As long as it falls within the 10% of what it's supposed to make. Or here's a better way of putting it. Let's say a pool should make 20 blocks per epic, but D equals 0.9. It won't make 20 blocks. It will only make 2 blocks. So until that D parameter counts down to 0, you might not have a good idea of how well that pool's doing. You'll probably be able to figure it out, but it won't be blatantly obvious, right?
Yes. Correct. 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 You know what would be a cool feature? I know this is a little pushy because this thing could just came out, but when you're searching for pools in Daedalus, if IO Global created a system of maybe filtering for people to search via fixed fee or via epoch fee or via operating fee, and then maybe had the search ticker allow you to search for pools based on the metadata that's attached to that particular pool, as opposed to just looking for the symbol. I think this would allow people to look at a wider range of pools because it's very confusing. And as far as like maybe someone wants to look through all 600, but they need some search terms in order to properly look through all 600. Instead, people are just going based on name recognition. I think it would help a lot of the smaller pools as well because they could add little metadata tags that would allow them to show up.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Pal Derogi over at Pool Under UNDR, I think he put in a GitHub ticket about 8 or 9 months ago requesting that feature, and maybe it hasn't been looked at yet, or maybe it's it doesn't affect the protocol. It's just how does the front end work? That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
So he's got a GitHub entry on that to sort by various different topics, like the pool's purpose or things like you just described. So, yeah, some of our local community contributors like Pal have put that in. Glitch also put in Glitch over at that One Love pool. He put in a couple GitHub entries on Daedalus already. So that was good. I mean, the community's really kicking in. They're doing their job. They're doing a lot of work. It's good
Yes.
stuff, man.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the community development's looking good. Looking good.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yep. All right. So any other questions in chat? Let us know. We are at the hour point. We're approaching the hour point. 5 minutes
Yeah.
here. We'll be wrapping up. Do we need to summarize Reddit, or are we good on that?
I think we're good on that. I think we're good on that. Remember, everyone, we had a live stream episode on Wednesday. It seems like it was a long time ago, but it just happened. So Shelley went live on July 29th. It was at 5:44 p.m. We had a lot of operators. Charles came on, Jer Mooney came on, Romaine came on. We had a lot of guests, and we just count down. We did a countdown. We had a good time. And yeah, so we were just live a few days ago. So not too much has happened since Wednesday to Sunday, but staking is live now.
Yep, it sure is. It sure is. A few hiccups, but it happens. It happens.
Hmm.
Yep,
It's a work in progress.
it'll get
So
sorted. It's still
yes.
the Cardano CardanoUpdates.com or .io, whatever it is. So Cardano updates still showed 2,000 commits this week, in this
Wow.
past week. It hit 2,745 right before, I think about 3 or 4 days before Shelley launched. 2,745 commits in a week.
I
It's
don't
still
know.
going, man.
Yeah, I don't know what IO Global is feeding these engineers, but I mean, they've been nonstop working, nonstop working.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Plus
they can.
the
Yeah.
community commits are going in there as well.
Mm.
So nonstop working, but everything coming from the folks like at the Cardanians, I think. But Marcus has some commits in there. All these guys have commits in there. But and Emergos is in there as well. So
Yeah.
they're still working their butts off.
In episode 1 or 2, I think you showed a can of either it was Monster or Red Bull. I think we need that sponsorship because it accurately portrays what we're doing here. I mean, no one's getting any sleep and we're running on
Yeah.
fumes. So that would be a great sponsorship.
I'll tell you what. I sleep well at night with this Haskell code. That there's a big difference between the launch of the Jormungandr Rust ITN and the launch of this one.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
There's
definitely,
not
definitely.
wrecked,
Yeah.
not wrecked.
Yeah. Not wrecked.
Definitely smooth. They're just sitting there. They're just
Yeah.
sitting there doing
Yeah.
their thing, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just doing their thing.
Significant improvement.
Yeah, I sleep well at night. I sleep well. I had on the Rust cut. I'll tell you something funny. I'm not the only one that did this. Old Pa Sync did this too, and a couple other people. I thought was kind of funny. During the early days of the Rust ITN, we had the scripts to catch failover. Right, if a process failed or the block height got stuck, it would catch it and try to restart it. But the last ditch effort script was if nothing worked, if none of the scripts corrected the problem, I think we had it set to 600 seconds. There was a beeper alarm. It would make the computer start going beep, 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 beep. None of the And I wasn't the only one that did it. There was a bunch of Rust ITN early day guys doing that.
Yeah.
they,
Yeah.
they set beeper alarms that if their node didn't respond, because if they used SSH into a cloud service, you can do the same thing.
Yeah.
If the node didn't respond to a query in a certain amount of time, it would start beeping. You don't have to do that with Haskell. You
No,
turn that
no.
bad boy on, and up she goes.
It's moving. It's moving.
Yeah.
It is moving.
The only thing people are working on now is automation. Is that okay? All right, the node's running good. Now, how do I display it? How do I monitor it? How do I automate when I want to switch to backup, stuff like that? So that's a massive, massive improvement. I gotta say,
Yeah.
I'm very grateful, and I'm very happy
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's many other pool operators that would agree. There are some other complaints, but for the most part, I think people are in general, pretty happy. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. One last question from CT Guitar Guy. Does pledge equal size of pool? No, pledge is the owner's pledge. So it's how much they lock up in their pool, or they tell you that they lock up in their pool. So it's like basically putting your money where your mouth is. And well, like we were saying before, the effects are yet to be seen. It's kind of like a negligible factor at this point. But the size of the pool is how much stake is in the pool. So stake is completely independent of owner's pledge. And if an owner removes their pledge at any particular time, everyone within that pool will lose rewards for that given epoch, that 5-day period. So yeah. So as a delegator, you look at pledge to show it's like a metric of trust for that operator. someone is putting skin in the game, putting their money where their mouth is, they have more incentive to work on their pool and make sure that they keep it up and they're invested in the project. You want to go with people that are invested in the project. Just personal opinion.
Yep. Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
It shows. Okay, this person's they got game on. They got game.
Yeah.
They mean business.
Yes.
They,
Yes.
yep. Oh, and there was. We're gonna wrap up shortly. There was another question I had caught here. Oh, Baby Well Crypto asks, are these generic scripts off the net or custom scripts you guys made? These are community developed scripts. A combination of both really is the answer. There's a lot of people making custom scripts for their specific configuration, their specific setup, and there's also like the Cardano Operators Guild built CN tools. You can get that off of GitHub for the Cardano Operators Guild, and it comes with a lot of built-in features for operating a pool, and it helps people very rapidly set up a pool correctly, as long as they operate the CN tools correctly. Martin over at Atata made a ITN rewards conversion script. So if people need, it's really for pool operators. It's command line. So if you're a delegator, don't bother with it. Stick with Daedalus and Yoroi. But if you want to use ITN rewards and you want to convert them, I don't remember exactly how it works, but he wrote a script to do that. So well done, Martin. Good job. And that's just an example of the pools, the community involvement between the guild operators and people writing tools to help the pool operators run more efficiently and bring things up rapidly. So great job out there, all you community folks putting in hard work. Nice
Okay.
work. Okay. So we good, buddy?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We hope that everyone enjoyed this live stream series. We appreciate each and every one of you. This was episode 101. 101. It's incredible that we've gotten this far, and it's no thanks to you. It's all thanks to you. I'm sorry. And we appreciate you. We value your time. We value your input. Look for some guests, upcoming guests in the next few episodes. I mean, we're all working on things, so hopefully we can get some actual interviewees. But otherwise, we're going to continue our live stream series, and hopefully we can get to 200 at some point. So once again, have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining us on the Cardano Effect Podcast, episode 101. And until the next episode, bye, everyone.